Lee and I share the view that there is no one way to be successful as an investor. However, we believe there's one way for us to be successful as an investor.
We are roll-up-your-sleeves portfolio managers. We've known each other for over a decade, and we've been co-managing this strategy together as portfolio managers for over 7 years now.
We share a common background in how we developed in this industry, in that we developed initially as analysts.
We take a very forward-looking approach on how we think about forecasting our businesses through the lens of a discounted cash flow approach.
The shared investment philosophy, I think, is very powerful, and that's one of the main reasons why I believe the partnership between Lee and myself works.
We ask a lot of questions. Why? What happens next? Okay, if this happens, what does that mean?
I'm one of 6 children, so I had a lot of opportunity for listening, and I very quickly had to figure out how to advocate if I wanted to be heard at all at home. And that very much is relevant, I believe, to investing and to portfolio management.
I was in the military, so that element of service has been a constant throughout my career, whether it was in the military or in my current capacity as a fiduciary. We believe by finding and owning companies that have 3 alpha drivers of quality, intrinsic value growth, and valuation allows us to have the best opportunity to outperform globally. And we use these 3 alpha drivers to execute against what we see as 2 market inefficiencies.
The first is what we call the duration effect.
The idea that a business can become more valuable over time because of the inherent compounding of the free cash flow of that business.
And the second is mispricings. That's because we believe the starting point for any investment matters. And the way that we take advantage of those is by looking for businesses that meet our 3 alpha drivers.
The most important aspect of building the team that we have is that everyone shares the same alignment in investment philosophy and process.
We think that's really important, but being aligned from a philosophy perspective doesn't mean you always agree. We often use the word iterative, so that when we reach a point to reach conclusions, those big conclusions are often easy to make because the whole team has been brought along through that research process.
What we're looking for in individuals on our team is very similar to the types of characteristics we're looking for in the very same companies that we're owning in this portfolio. Diversity of the employee base, the management team, as well as the board of directors.
There's lots of research that has shown bringing diversity into groups leads to better decision making. We're global investors, and so we believe we need to bring a global perspective.
We have a disciplined process. We encourage and want a lot of interaction across the team and people to think and bring their own views and be very creative. And creativity really involves thinking about not just what the first order impact is from a certain announcement that a company might have or what's going on in the world, but taking that a step further and thinking through, okay, what's the second or the third or the fourth order impact of that event or that action? This is a very humbling business and profession that we're in, and we're going to be wrong at different points of time. And when you start to realize that you're wrong, we need to have a team that can come together, attack and pivot and move on to the next idea.
Periods of market volatility can often bring discomfort for many investors. And we try to remember that market volatility actually brings opportunity. And I think that's something very important for our investors to understand about how we go about building this portfolio.
There's a real art and science to how a business can become more valuable over time.
I can tell you that I am not artistic, but I do believe I have creativity, as do all the members of our team. What we mean by that creativity from an investment perspective and why we think it's important is it's about thinking beyond just financial analysis. It's about thinking about what are the right questions to ask. How do you build a future forecast for a business?
Someone once told me many years ago when I was in the military, figure out what it is you like to do, find a job doing it, and you'll never work another day in your life. It's always a proud moment when a client can turn to us and say, I've been with you the entire ride, and thank you for helping us and my organization achieve our goals.
That's one of the reasons that I love investing, is that it's a constant learning process. I am and have always been motivated by excellence. I'm also motivated by being a role model. And I want to be a role model for the members of our team and our broader Loomis organization.